I've been waiting for a while to get my hands on this movie because I've heard nothing but good things, and I gotta be honest, for the most part, wasn't disappointed. Hey guys, welcome to Happywax TV. So tonight we're talking about a movie called The Dark Red. It is written and directed by Dan Bush. And if you're not familiar with this guy, hop on over on the Netflix and watch the movie The Vault, because he is also the writer and director for that movie. And it stars James Franco. And I loved that movie when I saw it a couple of years ago. So anyways, this is his movie. And I'll tell you, I didn't really know what to expect out of this movie, especially reading the synopsis. But I liked it. I really did. I'll get into it more, but let me just get through who's all in this. It's got a semi-small cast. It's basically April Billingsley plays Sybil Warren. She is like the main character of this movie. And I'm not overly familiar with her. I know she was in The Walking Dead for a season or two. I don't watch that show anymore. And then Kelsey Scott is her doctor, or her psychologist, I guess. And then Connell Byrne plays a David Holyfield, who is kind of her boyfriendy love interest into this movie. Now, I'm just going to say, I'm going to try and keep this relatively vague. Okay, I know you guys hate when I do this, but just trust me here. This movie is like, and I've said this before about some other movies, the less you know about this movie, the better, because like there are a lot of twists and turns in this movie. And I'll tell you, the third act, I had no fucking idea that was going to happen. And I'll be honest, I didn't even like it at first. But then as it kind of unfolds in front of you, you're like, oh, you know, it's kind of cool. I guess I think they went the route as to what most people would want to see in this style of movie. Okay, if that makes sense. So anyways, we're first act, we're introduced to Sybil. Death in the family. I think her mother died. And then she's dealing with that grief. And then David comes into the picture, and, you know, she doesn't really have any family now. She's single, you know, kind of struggling. Do you know what I mean? And then David comes in, sweeps her off her feet, more or less. And then they, you know, hit it off, and they move in. But David's really sketchy. Okay. Like she always questions him, you know what I mean? Like, she's never met his family and all this stuff. There's all this mystery that comes around, but she's in love with them, so she just accepts it, you know what I mean? And then she becomes pregnant, so then David says, okay, we need to meet my parents. So, you know, they go on this cross-country road trip, this is all in the first act, to meet the parents. And then, but this is, okay, so the first act is, again, you really have to pay attention to this movie, okay? Because the movie is told through flashbacks through the entirety of the movie, except for the third act, okay? So first act and second act are all flashback sequences as told by her when she's in this hospital now and being interviewed, or, you know, going through these therapy sessions with Dr. DeLuce, okay? And they even say that in the first two acts, that it's like session 1 and session 2. So session 1, we're kind of introduced to everybody, including the doctor, right? And we know that Sybil playing April, or April playing Sybil, is not an idiot, because she already knows ahead of time what the doctor is going to fucking ask her for the most part. So right there, you're kind of thinking like, what the fuck's going on here, right? So, but this is pretty much what it is. The session 1 and session 2 are the interviews by the doctor. Sybil gives her side of the story, that her baby was more or less taken out of her by this family of David's, do you know what I mean? And then is kidnapped, and she wants her baby back. But I don't want to say too much beyond that, you know what I mean? Because as this movie unfolds in front of you, there are a lot of twists and turns. I'm telling you, there's more twists and turns in this fucking movie than a pack of fucking Twizzlers. Like, God, honestly. And if you think you know what's going to happen, or if you can guess what's going to happen in the third act, I don't think so. You know what I mean? Leave me comments down below if you have seen this movie and if you thought that was going to happen in the third act. I don't fucking think so. I never saw it fucking coming. Maybe you did. Maybe I'm just a dumbass, because that went in a totally different direction than I thought this movie was going to go in. I didn't like it at first, but the more it kind of unfolded, you know what I mean? I wanted more of it, to be honest. And I'll be, seriously too, this movie, the first act, honestly, if I was doing this movie, I would have condensed the first act a little bit, maybe by 10 minutes, and then extended the third act, because honestly, you just want more of the third act. When we get into it, you want more. You want more. And again, that's being vague and not giving any spoilers, but I mean, this movie has a ton of movies in it, okay? Like, not just the ideas of other movies, and you can pick them out throughout, really. I mean, Rosemary's Baby comes to mind first and foremost, just because what happens to her, and I mean, read the synopsis, watch the trailer. You know, there's a cult in there. You know what I mean? That take her baby. I mean, that's not a spoiler. It's right in the trailer. You know what I mean? And then there's all these conspiracy theories going through your mind. You know, about the wealthy, how they kidnap the babies and eat them. You know what I mean? To keep them younger and stuff like that. But then there's like a Scanners movie element in this, right? Which they also talk about in the trailer, because Sybil has this ability, it's in her blood, you know what I mean, to read minds and to slightly control people with her mind, and she can read certain people. You know what I mean? And again, that you might think I said I was going to be vague, but all this is in the trailer. So if you watch the trailer, you've seen it. But it's the twists and turns that happen in this movie that make it so good. You know what I mean? And again, it's a little bit long in the tooth, unfortunately, in the first act. You know what I mean? But when we get into the second act, the ball kind of gets rolling. But you'll see what I mean when you get into the third act and the ending. It's almost like it just ends. You know what I mean? And you just want more of it. So I don't know if they're leading up for a sequel or what, but I was really hoping to have that third act a little bit longer and maybe the first act a little shorter. But I'm recommending this movie. It's getting good reviews, and rightly so, because it's low budget, but it's a killer story. It's again, I mean, it's picked from, you know, pieces of other fucking great movies, and then it's kind of blended into this movie. But it's low budget. It's low budget, so you're not going to see, you know, like Avengers style fucking special effects. Actually, I was pretty impressed on, you know, the practical effects, and there is some blood and gore in this. Not a lot, but when there's a lot of it. And it's practical, which is fantastic. They went the practical route, none of this CGI crap that just takes you out of these low-budget movies. So, and the acting was phenomenal. I mean, really, the acting and the story is what you want in these low-budget movies to carry them through, and you have both here. The interaction between Dr. DeLuce and Sybil is fantastic. But even the scenes with David's family, it's just, I mean, it all plays out really well. I just am being a greedy fat kid, and I wanted more of the third act. So, but again, there's a lot of twists and turns, and I mean, it'll keep you on your toes throughout the entirety of the movie. So, anyways, it's called The Dark Red. It is out now. If you have seen it, let me know what you think. And if you haven't, please go rent it. $5. You can't fucking beat that. Go rent it and then come back and let me know what you thought of this one. It's like, again, it's getting really good reviews by critics, which is fucking unusual for like a sci-fi kind of horror movie. But again, if you have killer story and killer acting, it's gonna just push your fucking low budget movie to the max, and that's what it does. And the direction in this movie is fantastic. Again, it's the same guy that did The Vault. So anyways, check it out. Let me know what you think, guys. And as always, stay scared.